So we had left off at the input reader, right? I hope there's nothing that needs to be asked here, but sure if you have to. So all it does, it reads a line of input from the user, breaks it up into words, and I've used blank. Again, you could use a complete regular expression like you've done in your email testing before, right? You could say, I want a blank, I want anything, any separator that you can think of that we use. We usually use commas, right? But after a comma, grammatically, always you put a blank. Grammatically, any punctuation that you use in English grammar, you always put a blank after it. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Semicolon also you put a blank. After a comma, you also put a blank. So you always put a blank. So I took a blank. But again, you could just create a regular expression and then do it, right? So it splits it up, puts it into an array of strings. And the best part is that when I convert it from a string array and put it into a hash set, the advantage of hash set is the value only occurs once. And that's what we want. So that's my input reader. So the program that reads input and splits it into word. The second important program, the second important class is your responder. This is the class that the object of this class will respond to the question. Now, how does it respond it? Here is the logic. After it has what you return, so it will say the input reader has read a line, it has been split, it will call the method to get the input, and then it will search it into a hash map. So notice how I've used a hash map, a hash set, an array list, an iterator, and there is, you are aware that there is a class called random under util, but the secure random under the security package, more secured random number generator. So I'll use that. Okay, so that was just mentioned so that you know that there is one. I think, but I've already introduced you to the secure random class of the security package. So I'll use that to create random numbers. Why do I need a random number? I'll just tell you. If a keyword is found, an answer is given back. But what if there is no keyword there is no keyword that matches it? Then you have to give a random answer back. So what I've done is I've created a random array list in which I've kept random answers. And I just pick up one at random. That is where I need it. So it's not always that one answer will go back. The answers, the foolish answers that can go back are also many in the list. Okay, so it says the responder class simulates a response generator object. It is used to generate an automatic response based on specified input. Input is presented to the responder as a set of words, and based on those words, the responder will generate a string that represents the response. Internally, the responder uses a hash map to associate word with response strings, and a list of default responses is also kept. If any of the input words is found in the hash map, the corresponding response is returned. If none of the input word is recognized, one of the default responses is randomly chosen. That's the logic of it, right? Okay, so let's go through it. So I'll need a hash map to store my keywords and my answers, right? I will need an array list to save the default responses. I don't need a hash map there. It's just a list of responses. And then I need a secure random object to work with to create a random number. So these are the three instance variables of my class. Maybe we can put the secure random inside the method that I needed. Not every object needs a, yeah, I could do that. But definitely every object needs a hash map and an array list. Think about it. If I make it final, oh, does it give me something about it? It's giving me a hint. Yeah, final it can be final because this is just a list which has keywords, answers, keyword answers. You know what I mean? So it can be made final. You could create it as a final one. The only thing with final is that you have to kind of, you can't call these methods you have to initialize them right in the constructor. That's the disadvantage. Yeah, but it could be like if you kind of think about it, or at least static. What about static? So that all the objects of the class use it, right? That can be done at least. What do you say? Because all objects are using the same database. You know what I mean? Like the same database. It could be static. If not final, okay, final is I want to add more responses afterwards. I could have a method which says add another response, add more keywords. But what about static? Static wouldn't be a bad idea. Static wouldn't be a bad idea at all, because why should I create for every object? So suppose this is kind of think of it out like this. I have 10 students in class and I say you have to choose. Here is, I give you a list and say this is where you want to choose from. Choose one of these. Why would I give a list separately to each one of you? Because the list is common. So static says it is common now, right? It belongs to the class. That means all objects can use it. I think static would make sense. Final, I'm not thinking a lot, because if I want to add a new keyword and value, which is okay, right? So I could add a set method into it. But static is making sense. So if it is something from which all objects are looking for answers, why would you create copies of it? Like in a database, why would you create copies of tables? Same concept, right? So I'll go with static. Static is making more sense to me. So before I forget, guys, any changes that I'm making here, please see that you make to your own code. And also, if I'm sorry for this, but if I'm hearing from students and I find that I've again made typo mistakes or something, I'll put it on announcement. So keep your eyes open, okay? just because small typo mistakes are coming up, right? Students are like, you told me, and then another student wrote same. He told the get account method and the same thing that we talked about in class, but he also pointed out a less than equal to sign. That when you say it is greater than equal to 0, so the error message should say it cannot be less than 0. You should not say less than equal to. So I'm making those changes. Hopefully it will only be in the document files. I won't change my test files at all, because document files are easy to kind of look at it again. Let me keep my fingers crossed, because too much confusion is not good anyway. But I've placed the 2 new files, okay? Okay, now let's look at the responder. Responder creates a new hash map, creates a new array list. Now these 2 methods, fill response map and fill default responses, are just to fill up the table, right? Or the array list. And then I create the new generator also. So all my initializations are done here. You could have done this before also. And then I fill up the 2. So what's fill response map and what's fill default responses? So let me take you there first. The easy one first. This is all the fill default responses is doing. It's a private method. So what am I doing? I'm just putting some, that sounds odd. Could you describe that problem in more detail? No other customer has ever complained about this before. That sounds interesting. Tell me more. So just some default responses. That's all it is, right? So you could add more if you wanted. So it's just an array list in which I'm adding some responses. That's all I'm doing. Okay, now what about the hash map? How have I filled that up? Let's look at the hash map now. Not a big deal. Same kind of concept. Now, instead of using the add method, please see it has a put method. Response map is your hash map. It has a put method. And it has, 2 elements. Notice a string, comma, a string, right? The plus is just going to a new line. I don't even need it, I think, because I think I had less space. Anyway, so the plus is not even needed now. Something to do, because I've started using the wrap here. So you can remove them if you like. It was just for my wrapping. That's why. Maybe at that point of time. So the pluses are just because it was on a different line, guys. That's all. It's a wrapping thing, nothing else. Oh, maybe I want to go to a new line. In all our tests, are you running another? No, I don't think we are okay. I don't know why did I put a backslash. Sorry about that. I have no clue. It's too much. Why should it come on different lines? Okay. So anywhere you see these backslash ends, you can kind of remove them. They are just for I did. So you can make it neater. Oh God, they're not less. I have enough of them. I didn't realize it. Why did I do it? Oh God. That took quite a bit of time, didn't it? Or you can leave it. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect the logic in any way. It's just that they looked odd here. Or maybe to show, you know what, it could be to kind of put them in different lines. Otherwise, they go out of the page, the output or something. Yeah, that could be the reason. Oh well. Now what? Can't do much about it. Now I've removed them. Anyway, here. So look at the response map now. It's just a collection again. But instead of an add method, what do you have? A put method. So what do? I in each, I keep adding. I add the first element in my hash map. And do you notice something? It has two elements. It's separated by comma. So that's your key. So if it finds the word crash, that's your answer. That will be the answer. Well, it never crashes on our system. It must have something to do with your system, right? Look at the second one, crashes. And then, well, it never crashes on our system. Same answer. Slow. If the keyword is slow, oh God, what did I do with that? If the keyword is slow, I close my NetBeans. How? I have no clue how. I didn't, nothing. I was far away from the close button.
So you need a hash map because it looks for a particular word?
I want to create this structure, keyword solution, keyword solution.
It looks for crash.
And then
if it finds crash,
it will find, you will retrieve its value. You will retrieve its partner. Okay. That's what it does. What it does. So what I've done is I've just kind of put some answers in my hash map. Okay, I'm back to where it was. That's okay. I'm not going to do it again. It lost all my changes. That's fine. I think I put it to put in different words. I'm not bothering now. But anyway, right? So that's what it does. So why do I need a hash map? Because I want to do something like a key value pair. Think about it. You need a key value pair. You need a question and you need an answer. You need a question and you need an answer. So my question is the keyword and my answer is what I'll show to you. Okay, so whenever you need a data structure where you want to keep a pair in each values, you can't use an array list. You can't use a set. You can use a hash map. There's another one also. It's called a tree map, if I'm not mistaken. Wherever you see the word map, it is a pair. Wherever you see something like set, hash set, tree set, there are unique values. And then you have the list, array list. Right? So you'll see the collections come in three groups. Either the word list at the end, or the word set at the end, or the word map at the end. That's how they are, right? And what is different is a set has a unique combination. A list is different from a set because you can have non-unique values. And a hash map has a key value pair. And I'm almost positive that key is unique. Okay, I didn't get time to check in the break as I had promised. So that's my fill response map. Okay, so what does your constructor do? Your constructor in a way kind of fills your two lists, right? It fills up your hash map and it fills up your array list. Now this warning that you're seeing here is saying you don't need to give me this again. Once you've told me that it is a string comma string, I know it. You don't have to give it to me. Where have I told it? Here, when you declared it? When you declared it, you said it was a string comma string. So it says you don't have to give it again. It's giving a warning. You don't have to do it again. You've already told me once. Now just use it. Just use the diamond operators. I am in the habit of putting it, so I always put it. I just put it. I think it was something that was required in before Java 5. It changed, but my habit didn't change, right? That's why those warning symbols come. And it is still saying something about private. It is still saying it can be final because it's saying you don't have any set methods or anything. You're creating it right in your program. It's a private method. So why don't you just make them final? It's not wrong, but I am thinking more on extensibility. Suppose I wanted to add response using a set method. You can always say add more keywords, right? So I'm kind of going that way, but its idea is not bad. It's trying to say make it final if you want, but definitely I would go with, oh God, I've lost that too. I would definitely go with static. I better save it. Okay. Static we had said makes sense, right? Why create a different list for every object? That definitely. So now it has stopped complaining about final also, because if it belongs to the class, it's fine. Okay. Okay. Having said that, so this is what it did, right? It filled up the response map and it filled up the default response. Now comes how does it generate a response? Now comes the logic. How does it generate a response? What should be the logic? It should pick up a word, look in this hash map, look for this key value and give you the value. So they're called key value pairs. Okay, it's called value and key. Okay, so what does it do? It gets a hash set from, it will be called from, a hash set is passed to it. These are my keywords. What does it do with the keywords? It picks up one keyword at a time and it says get the word. So it's looking for the key and the method is get. So it's put and get instead of add, or there was a get in array list too. It gets you the ith element, right? So this also gets what? Now you don't say get me the ith element. In get of the array list, you use an index I. But here you use the key. So I'm saying, give me this word. Where is this word coming from? Your hash set. You'll say, how did I get this hash set? Of course, I'll have to pass it to the generate response method. That I'll do it in my system file, right? This one is saying, give me a set. I will look into it. If I get something, if my response is not null, I'm going to return you the response. So it will go through the whole hash map. If it doesn't find it, it basically says return. Oh, it returns a pick default response. It just picks up a response, nothing. So if it doesn't find it, it just says, I'll give back any answer to you. And what is this pick default response method? In a minute, I'll give you. But this is all the logic that I need. Go through the hash set, get the word. So this get method, it's not a big deal here. This get method, it will return you the value. Here, see, it returns you the value from the map. So if I say get Anju, it will return 101. If I say get Jack, it will say 111. If it doesn't find it, that's okay. What did I do? Then I say, oh, return a pick default response. There is this method. What is this method doing? It's a very easy method that picks up a default response, creates a default number. There it is. Here, what does pick default response do? It creates a random number and just gives it get index. Notice how I need an index in my array list. So it is an array list. I say, pick up any answer and give it to me. So it does give back something to you. It has to. It can't return an empty string, right? So logically, that's all it does. That's what it responds with. It looks for the keyword in its hash map, gives you the corresponding value back. You'll say, how is that? There is no magic at all. The get method is returning it to you. Here, see hash map. The get method returns the value to which the specified keyword is mapped, or null if this map contains no mapping for the key. Therefore, I checked if it is equal to null. If it is not equal to null, return it. So more formally, they've kind of given a definition. A return value of null does not necessarily indicate that the map contains no mapping. It's also possible the map explicitly maps the key to null. So you have to be careful here. What it is trying to tell you is the null doesn't mean there is no response. Null could be the answer of that particular key. That can also happen. Okay. So it's saying the null could also be the answer. The value that you have associated could be null. You can associate the value null with a key. Null means not defined. Okay. So you have to be careful about that. But in my case, since there is each one of them, I've said if it is not equal to null, I'm saying return it. But be careful. The null is coming back in two cases. One, so not equal to null means, oh, I found a response. But null doesn't necessarily mean it was not present. It could also mean that there is nothing with it. Like you have defined it as null. I haven't done it, but I'm only saying if it is not null, then return it to me. Either way, it's fine for me. I don't want to give an answer of null back anyway. Okay. But the null says either it didn't find it or the value associated with, the value associated with it was null, which is not in our case. So simple responder. So an input reader and a responder. Now to put them together, right? We have to put them together. So we'll have to now create a system. Now comes the system. What will it do? It will take input from the input reader, give it to the responder, right? And then get the answer from the responder and spit it out on the terminal. That's all it will do, right? So now let's go to our third class, the system one, the actual support system. The support system will need a reader, will need a responder, right? What does it do? It creates a new reader, it creates a new responder in its constructor. Now it has a start method. So this is like your start game method. So this is the start method that will go on, and notice it says while not finished. So I'm using a Boolean variable, and this is how you should do it. You don't break out of something. You don't break out of loops. It's not recommended at all. They put the break statement in Java, but it is not recommended because break kind of takes the attention of the user from somewhere to outside the loop. So it's not recommended. You should always do go to less programming without any go-tos, right? So anything that you want to do, you can use a Boolean variable. So what did I do? I created a finished Boolean variable and initialized it to false. So I want to start always, right? I have a response coming back. I put a print welcome message. It's just a print welcome to this. It's just a print welcome message. And now look at my loop. My loop is saying while not finished, do this. Why is it so kind of there? Better, right? So how will you finish then? This is what I'll do. If your input contains buy, so you're expected to say buy if you're done, right? Or exit or something has to be done. If you say buy, you make finished as true. So I don't say break or anything. I just say while not finished. Okay, what do? You ask the reader and you get the input from the reader. Remember that get input method? Get input was getting the input, breaking it into words and returning you the hash set. You put it into a local hash set, right? And now do what? If your input contains, you'll say, what is this contains method? You have to be very careful. You just can't use contains with everything and it is available. You can't say string contains, like only collections will contain a contains method. And you have to kind of tell how that contain method does. What does the contain method do? It will go and look for the string inside that by. So if I go here and I go right click and I say show me Java doc, there it is. There it is. It says there is a contains method which returns a Boolean value. It returns true if this set contains the specified element. So the contains method is already defined in the hash set. You just can't use contains assuming it is defined in every collection and it will work. Okay, you have to say, how do I need it? In an array list, if you're looking for product ID, you'll have to say, this is how my contain works. Contain will use the equals method to see if it works, but automatically it won't work. But there is a contains method in the hash set. And what does it do? If it contains the specified element, it will return true, else it will return false. And it says from where has it come? It has come from the interface collection, it says. So it has been implemented here, right? It has been implemented. Array list doesn't implement it. You just simply can't say array list contains product. You can't do that, right? You have to be careful. Like these, it seems, oh, it will be there. It's an English word. That's what it means, contains. But you just can't use them without checking that the particular class has that method and it has been defined. Okay. Okay. So now come back. So it says, does the input contain by? If it contains by, then my finish becomes true. Else, what do? I ask my responder to generate a response. And notice how this input has been passed to the responder. Remember, it was expecting a hash set. I've passed it. And once I have it, I'm going to print it out here. It just spits it out. It spits the response. This system out println is required. This is like your application now. This is like your game now. You will do your system printings here, right? It prints it out. Okay, there it is. That's all is in the start. And then, of course, the print goodbye. So print welcome is just giving a print message. Print goodbye is just printing a goodbye message. But here is the whole logic. There is the whole logic. That's all it is. If you kind of look at it, that's all you have to do, right? Ask the input reader to read a line and split it into words and provide the set. Then the set is passed on to the responder. The responder will generate a response and send it back. And the system spits it on the screen. Job done. Right? But in this whole job, you've learned to create 3 classes. You've learned to kind of link them. And this is again a has a relationship. This is not extends, right? This is a has a relationship. The system support class has an input reader and has a responder. This is composition. These are composition relationships. Inheritance is a extends relationship, is a relationship. A savings account is an account. A checking account is account. Whereas here we say that this support system has a responder and has an input reader. Now all we need to do is the tester. And in the tester, like your game, all we have to do is create a support system object and call it start method. That's all we have to do. Let's test it, right? Let's test it. And contains will work either ways. By in any form will do. So let's test it now. Okay, so it will start giving. Oh, there. Welcome to Aki's whatever technical system. Please tell us about your problem. Print by to exit. I think it didn't even save my question, please then. It didn't save anything I did, I think. Yeah, I didn't. Therefore, you only see this. I had changed it to question, please. It didn't change anything. That means it didn't even change my comments. And I don't know, stores them. Puts is kind of a there. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't really matter, but this is where that question mark is. So if you had, you could have said question, please. So let's start with by, just so that you see. Doesn't matter how you say it. Doesn't matter where you say it. This was splitting. Remember how I showed you see later you and by? I showed you that hash set I wanted to, but we'll remove it now. But this is the answer. Nice talking to you. That's the goodbye. Let's run it again. And now let's go something like, how are you? How is the weather? I'm trying to show you that the how word will not be repeated. How is word going? Right? So I have how 3 times. How are you? Question mark. Anyway, how are you? And since after every punctuation I give a blank, I mean, that's the rule. It's kind of, it's okay, but you can change it. You can create a whole set. And let's do an enter. And notice it has, you'll see why I have a blank word at the end, because after this last question mark, there is no blank. So it's kind of taken it. Anyway, the, how, whether has come together with the question mark because there is no blank in between. So we could definitely do this better. We can create a set of punctuation marks and we can stop on, or we can crack on, we can split on question mark, blank, or whatever. I'll do it. It's not a big deal. And now it says, could you elaborate on that? Why is it saying this? Because none of these was a keyword in your hash map. Neither was the, how, whether, are, going, work, you, is. Nothing of them is a keyword. So it doesn't work. What has it done? You see there is an answer. What has it done? It has picked up one of the responses from the default one and given it. Now let's try something better. My system has crashed. No, there was a crash, but not crashes, crashed. So my system has crashed. Of course, it's wrong English, but anyway. So the words are system has my crash. Well, it never crashes on our system. It must have something to do with your system. Tell me more about your configuration. So now it has picked up something from the hash map. Remember, there was a crash word. There was also crashes. And I am telling you, it doesn't matter. Remember how I took my input, converted into all lowercase? Therefore, all my keys in my hash map are lowercase. Only then will it search. Here, well, it never crashes on system. So you can try. I don't know if system was a keyword. That sounds interesting. System was not a keyword. That sounds interesting. Tell me more was coming up from pickup default. As soon as you say buy in whatever, okay, buy, then whatever. As long as you say buy, as long as it has buy, it will stop. There it is. A very simple responding system. Logically, absolutely works absolutely fine, but it's not the best, of course. Right? So now let's see if I can break it up on more things, create a regular expression out of it. And I'm sure there'll be something on. I don't even have to think about it, I think. We'll go regular expression. These are called punctuations, right? And let's say Java. Here, regular expressions on punctuation, regex match for on punctuation, regex in Java, pattern. Oh, this is talking about pattern class. So we could pick it up and use it. See here, replace all punctuation in a string. You can also maybe replace it by blank. So these are all asking questions, but maybe we'll find a regular expression somewhere. This guy is absolutely new to regular expressions. So here they've created a regular expression similar to this. Notice how in square brackets, they have placed a period, an exclamation mark, a question mark, the backslash, the equal, and they should place a blank also. I mean, they haven't placed a blank, right? So this, it says it should work. Do you want to try? It's not a big deal. That's one that I see. Oh, we'll have to do a little more work, of course, you know, but that's one I see. So you have to just look for it, but it will be somehow very similar to what it is. Okay, they formed one here. Notice how they formed one. I have some punctuation, and I can't create a that can match the word in it. So what it is. So you just have to pick it up and see. Here, same kind of concept. Notice there is a comma, a period, an exclamation mark, a question mark. And notice it says it can occur as many times as you like. I hope you remember the plus. So if I put something in square brackets, a plus is one or more occurrences. Remember? So if I say, okay, any blank, a period, can't put comma, sorry. A comma, a period, a question mark, a colon, an apostrophe, so on and so forth, and just say as many number of times. And that it says as many number of times, it can occur together as many number of times. It has to be, everything has to be ignored and it becomes a word. So you can split it on this. You can create a regular expression. So let's try that. So let's go back here. It's not a big deal. It should work, right? I mean, of course, it will not be necessarily perfect, but it's not a big deal. So where was our, here it is. Okay, so let's start. Let's put this. We can go comma, this, blank, question mark. What else can you think? Backslash is not, no. What else can we break a word on? Question mark, quotes, double quotes? No, no, no. That's usually to do this. Anything else? Exclamation, yep, exclamation. Semicolon, yep. Oh, even a semicolon, yes. Oh, sorry, a semicolon and a colon. Dash, you're right, dash. Right, let's try this. And then let's put our square bracket back. And let's say as many number of times, one or more. Let's see if this works. Let's save this, right? Let's try to run it again. If we have an error, do we see any squigglies? No. Okay, let's try things. Oh, okay, too much. Okay, so let's go. How are you? Okay, let's try this. Okay, so the how are, what is this OW? Oh, the how became an OW. Sorry about that. Whether is it good you? Yep, works. Right, so instead of just a blank, use a regular expression and it should work. Now, what did I do with my, okay, and so that's all I did, right? So again, you can add whatever you like, and the plus says just, oh, let's try one more than once. That was another thing that would not happen in the first one. Blanks would come, right? So let's try this. Let's try to put more. What did I do with my output window? I brought it here, right? Okay, so let's go how, and let's put a blank a few times. Are, in the previous one, this would have given you blank words, all one blank word only, but anyway. They are how are you, it becomes how are you, all blanks are ignored. So the only thing you have to do is kind of go, I think it moved here. Okay, there it is. Okay. So change this and it, and again, I mean, I just took a, I just made a few up, but right. So anything, if you have a dash, if you have a comma, if you have a colon, semicolon, it will break the word. But the only thing, Henry, sometimes remember how it says self-explanatory. But yeah, but those are two words. It's not one word. Dash means two words, yeah. So works, yeah. There, we improved it. Right? So not a big deal at all. And we don't need to do any pattern matching or so on. Why? Because for your information, there is a matches method already in the string class that takes care of this. I didn't have to go that matcher and pattern as we did in email, because I'm using the split method, and the split method already has that option. I didn't have to do anything at all. Remember how the split method already had that option of giving a regular expression here. So I didn't have to do anything at all. This method works as if by invoking the to split method with the give and a limit argument of 0. Trailing empty strings are therefore not included, the string and so on. Yeah, but it already has it. And it's all, see, it's already using the pattern class. I didn't have to do anything at all, but create a regular expression. Now I've made it more, I've made it better. So extra blanks, any number of extra questions, anything will be ignored. They will not be counted as well. Now we could improve it a little further. How? The punctuations, what are they called? Prepositions in your language. Is, the, for, of, on, at. We can remove these also. You'll say, how does it matter? Kind of think about it. Like, I mean, you're writing a sentence. If I remove all this, maybe I'll reduce the number of my words from 15 to 10. Right? Because you do use a lot of prepositions in your code. So you'll say, what do I do about that? Now about that, what I'm thinking is this. So this is splitting of words, right? Now I can create another hash set. I mean, I create it, I initialize it, and I put all my prepositions in there. And then I say kind of a subtract. I want to take this hash set and remove all that is present in that hash set. Right? Logically. So if there is a remove all method, I think I saw a remove all method in the hash set. I can say remove all from this particular set. So you create your own hash set and you initialize it and then just say remove all of these. So what it will improve the efficiency of your code. Why? Because now you will only pass the leftovers to your method, right? So you can try it. I mean, as I said, I thought I saw one in hash set which said remove all. I could be wrong, but I think I saw it. So I see there is a remove. So there's the remove all was being inherited. It was not its own method. It was being inherited. I saw remove all somewhere. I did. I forget now. Oh, you know what? That's all we can do. It's the best way is to remove all. It is a method, but where is it? I am not very sure. It is in the list. There is a remove all in the collection method. And I think it was implementing it. Okay, let's try. Again, these are small things, right? I mean, this is not as if the logic will change, but it will definitely improve your code. So I am thinking that I could go something like this. I could create a private static final hash set of type string and go new hash map, sorry, hash set. And I don't have to give it this now. I'm not sure, but I think we can initialize it like, no, not here. No, not here, please. Not in Java. So doesn't like something. What doesn't it like? Oh, this is what it doesn't like. Still doesn't like something. Okay, let's look at the error. Identifier expected. Oh, the name. Oh my God. What do we call it? Prepositions? Okay, so prepositions. That's what they are called in English grammar. Okay, so Control C. Let's initialize it here. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Maybe, I don't know. Can we do? Oh, this is a final variable. Oh, so sorry. This is final, so I can do it right here. Oh, yeah. This is not a normal instance variable. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying it. Okay, the on, and let's see if it's kind of complaining. Doesn't like something. This is not how we do it. Round brackets. Otherwise, we'll always do a list. Doesn't like it. Okay, so we'll have to do, what was that method called? Arrays as list, right? Okay, so arrays, curly brackets now. Oh, still doesn't like it. Oh, because this is at the wrong place. Still doesn't like it. Oh, when I do a new, oh, how can I be so silly? Okay, still doesn't like. You can't say new and those things together. What doesn't it like? Semicolon expected. Where? Not a statement. Oh, can Alt enter? No. Configure constant naming conventions is make initializer static. No, it doesn't make sense. What doesn't it like? Oh God. How to initialize hash by construction. How to initialize, there it is. Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm using, arrays or dot something. Oh, you have to first create the array separately and then do it. Oh, that's not too good. But anyway, that's what they've done. See, they've created the array first and then use the as list method. And I was trying to do it together and I thought it wasn't like, that's exactly what I was trying to do, as list. And I said, I'll put the array here. Doesn't like it. That's not good. I mean, creating a string array first and then using it is what they've said. I mean, I'm not sure, but that's what we see here for sure. See? So create a string array first and then create a new hash set and then convert it. Anything else? No, that's all they've given. Okay, let's try that. That should work. We'll create an elements. We'll put your prepositions in here. I'm just taking an example. And then you have to create your hash set prepositions. Prepositions as new. What do we have to do? New hash set with arrays as list. Okay. Now this is a kind of a silly one, but we had to do this way, and it's still giving me some. Is it final static by any chance, which was creating the problems? No. Why doesn't it let me make it a final variable? What doesn't it like still? As soon as I added static and final, it created problems. Okay, let's see what it is saying. Field reader can be final. Oh, come on. Can be final. So all it says is can be final. Will static also create problems? Yeah. So do you think I have to make this final before I can make that final? No, it doesn't like final at all. Even static is creating problems. That's strange. Why is static creating a problem, right? Non-static variable and cannot be. Oh, the problem is non-static elements. Oh, so this has to be static. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Okay. Okay, there you are. The array that you were using to create the hash set has also to be static and final. Only then can be final. Okay, so I just kind of created this the and on. Right now I want to do something like this. Once you have those words here, okay, we had kind of commented this out. Remember, I said that this was a better way. Why do it manually? Okay, I had created this add all. Okay, I have these words. Now let me try to do this if I can. I don't think there's a big deal in it, but again, we have to try. So take your words and remove all. Let's see if we have a remove all. Yep, there it is, remove all. And can I remove all, what was it called, prepositions? No suggestions. Come on, I want to say prepositions. Oh, I'll have to use it with the class name. What is the class called? Input reader. Let's see. What did I do? I kind of removed, I took the words, I put all words into it, and then I removed the prepositions from it. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, so let's see if we can make it better. Okay, so let's try to put how. Oh, what did I put in my prepositions? The and on was there, right? The weather is nice. Sit on the beach. I'm just putting on and those, okay? There it is, it works. I removed the prepositions. Now this can go back to your responder. And it is saving time. You know what I mean? Like, why would you send the and is and all these words? So now all you have to do is, this. You put in more of your prepositions here, right? You have, I don't know, and, in, for. I mean, there's so many. All these useless words can be removed. Like now you can think of all these words that can be removed. All prepositions. You can look up prepositions in English language and just get them, get the list and use them. Oh, prepositions. So there is an official site here which says, English prepositions, English for you. Oh, there it is. List of English prepositions on Wikipedia. Here, so they're there. Oh, I didn't know ago and before. Ago was also a preposition. I didn't know that. To, fors, ats, ins, ons, by. These are all common. But here is the preposition list. So you can pick them all and put them on in your list, and there it is. Right? You can just put them there. Oh, there are quite a few. In, inside, like, minus, near, onto, oops, whatever it is. I'm not putting all those in, but you have your solution. You have the idea. Right? You have the idea. So we created a regular expression, and I said, break them on these, any of these, and then we created a hash set of prepositions, and then I said, remove all these from my hash set. That way, what goes back to your main code is little less, is less. Okay? There, that takes care of introducing you to a new hash set, a new hash map class. And again, anytime you have to use it, you have to go and look at its API. I mean, there is no escaping that. Now you have the option of going to the API and looking up stuff. All that you don't have the option is, suppose you get stuck somewhere like I did, how to initialize a hash set. You see, like if you try to go to a website different from API, I mean, I catch you kind of stuff. So if a situation like this arises, you can always ask me and you can use my laptop here. I'll be out of that list, okay? Because it's not in the API, I just had to Google it to see. But so I'll keep in mind, I don't ask things like this of you, but you may just need to know how to initialize a hash set. I knew it was something like this, but I didn't know that you have to declare the array separately and then convert it into it. But this arrays as a list is very common. You do it so many times. Yes?
For the task next week, we should focus on learning how to use hash map, hash set.
Tree maps, tree sets. And it could be any class actually, Henry. You know, to be very truthful. It could be any class. Okay. Right? Because like, it's just a class. We know inheritance now, we know extends now. If you have to look for a method, we can always kind of use our knowledge like remove all, add, get, put. These are just giving you more ideas. Right? Yeah, but it would be a little bit of logic and a little bit of usage. Both things, definitely both things. But inheritance, I'm kind of debating because it's more of concept rather than asking you of something. You know what I mean? But yeah, little bit of logic and little bit of usage. Like in your first exam also, if you kind of think about it, the midterm you used an array list, right?
Yes.
You did. So though you had seen it and used it in your game, assuming you had, like everybody had to use array list, but still there were things that you had to maybe look up, and which was fine. I mean, so I just did hash map and hash set for you so that if you see something new, you kind of say, oh, I haven't seen it before kind of stuff. But those are the three groups. Collections come in lists, collection comes in sets, and collection comes in maps. Hash map, hash set, tree map, things like this. And then of course you should now know also how to test your classes. If I give you a tester, you should be able to read my tester, look at the names of the methods and use them in your code. That's exactly what you were doing right now. Manjeet pointed it out. He said in your output, in your tester, you've used this method, but that's not what it is called. So you should know how to read my test file. So if I give you a test file and in that I've tested a method, get number of products, then you know that's what I have to call my method. You have to put 2 and 2 together, right? So something that should be doable in 3 hours, of course, doesn't ask a lot of you, but asks small things of you. Do you know how to use a test class? Do you know how to use something from the API? Do you know how to write your own code? And there you are, right? So not 10 methods, maybe 2 methods. I'm only asking you to do 2 methods. I mean, I could reduce how much I ask of you, but I ask you the things I've taught you, or something that you can put 2 and 2 together and do it, right? So I'm hoping that after you finish this assignment, you know how to use test classes, and people are pointing out that your method names are different. So that means they know what they're doing. And almost everybody did the testing algorithm, the testing assignment, because it was easy. So they've seen test classes. Now they're doing inheritance and they're comparing it against my test classes. So they've seen that too. So at the end of the day, you should know how to create test classes, how to use test classes, how to use API classes, and write your own code. So it's a very open book exam kind of. But if you're following what I'm doing in class and you're kind of working hard, I think you should be okay. That's what I said in midterm also. So people who did well knew what they were doing, but people who were not attending classes major, I'm not saying everybody, or people who were not trying majorly, they couldn't do it well. So you see how the class has reduced to what it is now. I mean, we started with 20 in this class, but But people are trying, and I'm fine. And people who try, I always try to give a push. Why not, right?
And then even after the last stage, you drop the course at an academic.
You have an academic penalty. You'll just get your marks that you get marks. If you drop it before the academic penalty, it doesn't show it on your transcript. That's the difference.
Students drop the course even after that day. So
I haven't seen any yet. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody dropping it after the academic penalty yet.
well, some students just stop coming to class.
That's their job then, right? That's not dropping it. They don't bother. That's fine. That's the mark they will get. Okay, so I can put this back. Oh, same problem. I forget that it has to go on the back one. So I'll put this on Blackboard, but it is not complete, but you have the idea, right? You have the idea that prepositions, we know the remove all method now. And I didn't know about it. When I was looking through the API, I noticed it. And the best way is to go to this collections and so on and look at their common methods. And they're almost there. Yes.
Did we put the static final hash set in the constructor for input reader?
Come again. What are you saying?
Just scroll down a bit. I'm trying
Nothing. There is nothing in the input reader, right? They were all static final variables.
Right. Well, I think I'm caught up.
Okay, I can put this back on Blackboard. No big deal. Okay, so now it is open. The next 20 minutes are yours. If you want to ask anything in the assignment, I can answer that. Right? So if you have done something, I can look at it or whatever. You can utilize that time. You can start doing your assignment. If there is any question, you can ask me. Whatever works for you, I can help out in the next 15 minutes. But I think this has given you enough of what I wanted to give you. So that takes care of my course. I've covered everything that was in my course outlines. Okay, I've done everything. Hopefully the next course will build more upon it for you guys and you'll get better. And I'm hoping this course has helped students and given them more confidence.